Hello, human light beings. Welcome back to the Thunder Wizard channel. Are you excited for all of the changes that are happening to the earth? How are you feeling? What is going on in your life? What has happened to you after this eclipse? Well, today I'm going to be talking to you about making the final preparations for the 5D Earth split shift. Actually, I should have said 5D Earth shift. 5D shift Earth split. How's that? That's what I should have said. And the theme today is how to walk the rainbow bridge to the new Earth. So, welcome back. I hope you are all doing well. I think about all of you, as well as everybody in the whole world, every day and meditate for this shift. And of course, I do my own self-examination and the work on myself because I want to be prepared for this, and I want to do everything in my power to facilitate a smooth and blissful shift to this new 5D Earth that we all believe is coming. So how exactly do we do that? You know, I wasn't a big fan of what I now believe, which was that I did not like the idea that there were multiple frequencies of Earth that were going to erupt from this shift. I have since come to believe that there will be probably 3 different versions of this Earth, and I've talked about that in other videos. And I do believe that there's still a lot of shifting to be done before this happens. I don't think it's going to happen today or tomorrow. It might happen, you know, this year though. This year, next year. We will all find out. I'm not attached to any belief about anything anymore. But that's my current belief. And even though I do acknowledge, and I have experienced, especially in the past, increasingly in the past days and weeks, I've sensed an energy shift within myself that seems to be coming from more than just my own self-examination. That still means that I have to cooperate with it. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to do, cooperate with the energy shift. And as you know, this shift, the actual first reaction to this shift, this higher energy shift that's coming from the sun and from the surrounding universe, is very likely to be resistance. It will be resistance on multiple levels to varying degrees depending on who you are. But it's very likely you will experience anxiety for no reason, fear. You may have anxiety and fear about things you think you know what's going on, but if you really examine it, you'll go, wait, those things really aren't bugging me all that much. What is happening here? There will be definitely some struggles with how to reconcile the truth versus what we've been told. And you'll have to face your own attachment issues to society and other people and even the third dimension. You know, one of the main things that happens with people, and by the way, this is one of the ways I know that somebody has interacted with higher dimensional energy. But one of the main ways that people react to doing the interdimensional meditations is that one of their first reactions is to feel like they are somehow betraying God, the earth, humans, their country. There will just be this feeling of shame as though they're betraying everything they think they know. And what it is, it depends on whatever your narrative story. You know, if you're a scientist, you'll feel as though you're betraying science and the laws of science because you're having this higher dimensional experience. If you're a politician, it'll be you're betraying your party. If you're deeply religious, you will feel as though you are betraying God. By the way, this is one of the reasons why on my shorts, which are starting to go viral on my Facebook page, which is Path of the Thunder Wizard, if you want to follow me there and share the videos from there with your friends on Facebook, please go and do so. But there's of course a lot of trolls that respond to my viral shorts, and many of them will say that I'm worshiping demons or that I'm possessed, and of course that's a projection, because the things that I'm saying are, I am actively trying to reveal the truth, which I know will result in the destruction of anyone's personal understanding of reality, their reality, the third dimension. And so religion is a very powerful tool for reinforcing the third dimension. I've talked about that at length. I won't go into that. So when you have born-again Christians who hear me talk about interacting with higher dimensional beings of light, and that I tell you that they're souls, and I tell you that some of them happen to be higher dimensional extraterrestrial beings, their first response is to say, those are demons. You're worshiping demons. Well, that is their revealing their own internal feelings of shame, because if they were to accept the idea that every single conscious being in the universe is no different from you, is a soul exactly like yours, then that is a destruction to the idea of the third dimensional illusion of being isolated. The idea that we're the only conscious beings in the universe, which of course is absolutely ridiculous. Because once you accept the idea that not only do other conscious beings exist, that they are spiritual beings and that their essence is identical to yours, which means they have the same feelings, the same desires. They might be on a higher dimensional plane, but other than that, they're identical to you. And not only that, but they know you, they remember you, they remember you before you were incarnated, they remember who you are, they remember why you've come here, they're here to help you. They're, of course, the angels of, previous religious understandings. We now see the angels for what they are. They're souls just like you and I. They happen to be outside of this third dimensional fishbowl. That's the only difference. But if you accept that, then you have to throw away religion, which means you're betraying God. And of course, religion is only another way of keeping the third dimensional lid on. But it could be politics, it could be anything. First reaction is going to feel like you're rebelling wrongly against those that serve you, those that control you, those that are taking care of you. Just the idea of accepting the understanding that money is an arbitrary intellectual concept and that money really doesn't exist. The idea that you're in debt is an idea. There's no reality to that. The idea that you owe the United States taxes is an idea. It's, that's all it is. Listen, if we wanted to really do it to the world, if we wanted to change the world, all it would take would be something like, I don't know how little, maybe 10%, 20%, 30%, if, somewhere around there, 10 to 30% of people just decided they weren't going to pay taxes anymore. They weren't going to pay taxes to a Ponzi scheme that is nothing more than a money laundering scheme for people who don't have allegiance to any country. So, the United States, for example, the Federal Reserve is a privately owned bank. It's not owned by 100% by Americans. It's owned primarily by people in Europe. And so the United States government doesn't have any of its own money. All of its money is lent to it. As soon as you print it out and you put the United States of America on it, it already has a interest attached to it, to the bank that issues it, which is the Federal Reserve of the United States, even though people who own it aren't all Americans. And it's not even necessarily located in the United States. And that money then is circulated among Americans, and you have to then go to work or have a job, have a business and create more, and then you're taxed for what you do, which is you are reinvesting their money into the United States, and then you have to pay taxes for what you earn. You're investing their money, and you're not getting anything back from it. I mean, whatever you get back, you're getting charged for it. And so it's a Ponzi scheme. That's all it is, and it's money laundering. They want to make money without having to go through the same process as you do. And that only happens if you believe that money is a real thing, and it's not. It's a 100% intellectual concept. It has no real existence. Forget about value. It has no existence in the physical world. So when you start to understand these concepts, you have to become a rebel to the concept of democracy, the concept of government, concept of infrastructure, all of that. You end up becoming a rebel to all of those things simply because of the change in your perception of reality. So when you experience higher dimensional energy, your perception changes. And the result of that perceptual change is you will, by definition, be a traitor to the narrative story that you have given yourself to, whether that be religion, politics, the idea of we're the only beings in the universe, whatever. So today we're going to be talking about that, and of course I wax on poetic or whatever, and I go off topic, but I do have a list here which we're going to get to. So before we go any further, I need to address those of you who are new. If you are new to the channel, question your reality. Online classes and personal mentorship at thunderwizard.com. If you're new to the channel, I need you to subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell button so you'll be notified whenever I come online or upload a video. Make sure you know the difference between live stream and videos and shorts and all that. And I need you to subscribe, comment, so that the algorithm will make this an important channel. I do believe that there is such a thing called shadow banning. So I need your help to overcome that nonsense. So subscribe, like, and comment. And then and to get the most out of this channel, if you're new, you go to the free playlist page, check out the interdimensional meditation and the 12 steps to 5D. Those will always be available to you. Those will always be free. The Maoshan Qigong, all of that is being transferred over to the thunderwizard.com website. So you'll have to access it there. All of the practices and meditations are going to be moved over there. And many of them already have. So go to the free playlists and do interdimensional meditation, 12 steps to 5D. Do at least one of those playlists or one thing from each of those playlists every day. And while you're doing that, I need you to do this. This is the most important thing you can do to keep this channel going. Go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe. Subscribe to the 90-day Lightning Qigong, the Warrior 90-day Lightning Qigong. And you'll have access to everything else. You can check it out. You'll have access to the Mastery of Shamanism course. You'll have access to the Mastery of Exiting the Matrix. You'll have access to the higher interdimensional meditation, all of the mudras, the mantras, the practices, the rituals, the 5-element postures, and all that stuff. You'll have access to stuff that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So subscribe there to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. There's a lot of people that go there and just subscribe as a freebie, and I don't know why you do that, because you're not going to get a whole lot. But that's what I need you to do. Subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And if you want to have access to the most powerful practices, which we will be talking about, I won't spend a lot of time doing it, I need you to go to thunderwizard.com, and there what you're going to do is, where is that? You go to thunderwizard.com, you're going to see shop. You're going to click on the shop menu and you will see the most powerful Qigong available. There's multiple practices. There's the brand new Advanced Hwar Mantra technique, which has a moving Qigong practice as well as a meditative technique to help flip on the pineal gland and allow you to go very deep in your multidimensional shamanic meditations and your interdimensional meditations. The Celestial Qigong, which is the basis of all the Qigong, I reverse engineered from the Maoshan, Summoning the Immortals, and the wood set you see here, the Maoshan Shamanic Kung Fu. Again, I won't spend all the time talking about it at the moment. So go there and check that out. That's how you keep this planet. That's how you keep this channel afloat. If you want me to stay here, I need you to get your hands on practices that will help you. I don't ask for handouts. I always give something of value in exchange for your support. All right, so what are we talking about today? Making the final preparations for the 5D Earth split shift. How to walk the rainbow bridge to the new Earth. So I've heard people talk about this for years. This idea that there's going to be a rainbow bridge that, you know, some people think it's literal, that there's going to be a physical bridge that you'll be able to walk on and go over to a new frequency, a new dimension. So the way it helps me to understand this is that I already know from, you know, lifetimes of experience that there are multiple frequencies of Earth right here. So wherever you are, you don't have to go anyplace else. If you were able to simply shift your frequency to another level, you would either drop down to, you know, one of the hells that exist, which are lower dimensional planes of existence where things get less and less pleasant, there's less and less bliss, more isolation, more fear, more negativity. Or if you're able to shift your frequency up to different frequencies, you would go to different lokas. This has been talked about in many religions. So all we're talking about here with this 5D shift to the new Earth is just that. It's just a frequency shift. You're not going anywhere. You're going to be in the exact same spot you are now. You'll just shift up to a different frequency. And it will be the same Earth. You can look out your window, the Earth will be the same. The topography will be the same. There might be less houses there. There might be more houses. Who knows? The houses might turn into something else. Instead of people driving cars, you'll look over and there will be, you know, people floating around on their own energy or, you know, flying around in their own Jetson anti-grav. I mean, who knows? But it'll be the same Earth, but there will be a different frequency. Now, the main thing to understand about 5D is that it is impossible. The higher the frequency is, the more impossible it is for there to be any negativity. So one of the things that's most frustrating to me about sharing my experience of higher dimensional extraterrestrials is that people conflate, understandably, they conflate their third dimensional understanding of aliens, which is, by the way, they don't exist. Aliens are a creation of dark force elites who have tremendous amounts of money and technology, and they have the ability to simulate what a third dimensional person would think an extraterrestrial is. That's all that aliens are. They're made they're either pumped into your head so you think you see something that isn't there, or they're people in suits, or they are androids, or they're even, now they've gotten to the point where they're creating these half machine, half, you know, alien DNA androids. So it's very, very convincing, but it's always in the third dimension. And these are the beings that abduct and take your sexual fluids and abuse you and anally probe you and all that. And what people do is they understandably conflate. I talk to extraterrestrials on almost a daily basis, and people think I'm talking to those guys. I'm not, because those guys are humans with a lot of toys and a lot of technology, and they're deceiving people. They're doing a lot of other things which we can't talk about on this channel, but they're doing a lot of horrible things. But one of the most frustrating things is that I've run into people who've been abducted on the channel and in person. And what's interesting is that abductees understandably don't want to be talked out of their experience. They went through something that is beyond their understanding, and so they might think they've gone crazy. Many of them have dissociated from the event, so they might not even have clear memories. They might have, quote, screen memories. These are all signs that you've been abused and hypnotized and messed around. Your brain has been, scrambled by people. And I say that because higher dimensional beings don't give you screen memories. They don't try and take your memories away. You're not traumatized in a way that makes you dissociate. None of those things happen with actual extraterrestrials. You might have a hard time comprehending what was said, or you might have a hard time putting it into words, or your three-dimensional brain understanding it, but it's not because memories were wiped from you. So when I interact with these people, and if it comes up, I don't force it on anybody who doesn't ask or interact. But if they do, I say, listen, what happened to you? You were abducted. That was a real thing. I know that was real. But those aren't extraterrestrials. Extraterrestrials, by definition, if they're coming to Earth, are higher dimensional. So the beings that you interacted with, third dimensional beings. No, you don't understand. They can disappear. They can walk through walls. Right? I didn't say that they couldn't do things that went outside of your understanding of 3D physics, but they were physically there. They physically touched you. You were physically moved onto their ship. They physically experimented on you. They physically took your fluids from you. Those were all third dimensional things. But because we have been lied to for, a long time, but at least over 60 years. And because you are a third dimensional person, your first response is to create it in the third dimension. And what's difficult is when I tell people this, abductees, they don't like it. They feel like I'm talking them out of what happened to them. And at the same time, they can't hear me when I say extraterrestrials are higher dimensional beings always. The beings that abducted you are third dimensional beings. They don't hear that part. What they hear is whether they're good or bad, and is it possible that there are good aliens and bad aliens? And you can't say that there aren't bad aliens because there are bad people in the world, and I say that's the third dimension. So this is what's most important about this shift. We're moving out of this frequency. Whether we're still going to be in the third dimension or not, I don't know. But without a doubt, we will be in a higher frequency if we make the shift. And in that higher frequency, there is an exponentially lower chance of there being anything associated with negativity. Because negativity it comes from dualism. Good and bad, up and down, left and right. Evil, spiritual. Those are three-dimensional judgments. And so people are either usually one or the other. And so they can shift from one or the other. And they can be both. Somebody can be really nice most of the time, but then they do these really evil, horrible things other times. And so this creates a fear and not knowing, especially aliens not knowing what they are. Well, they're not human, so who knows how they're going to react. If you want to see right now, if you want to see what the narrative is projecting and what the confessions are about the sorry, I talk so much and I can't find words. The Dark Force Elite fake alien abduction program and the lies that they want you to believe about aliens. There's a movie on Netflix right now. It's called The Three-Body Problem. And if you watch that and you want to know, if you want to see the projection of the Dark Force Elites, what they want you to believe and what they believe. And I listen to it and it's absolutely propaganda. It's anti-extraterrestrial propaganda. and people eat it up because you're a third dimensional being and you conflate. So it's very frustrating to me that third dimensional people don't understand. And I have to remember that 2.5, 3 years ago, I didn't understand any of it either. And I wouldn't have. If you had started talking to me about higher dimensions, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about. I would have conflated and I would have projected and I would have supposed, but I wouldn't have had any, major real experience. So this is how I know. I know when somebody's experienced higher dimensional energy. Within the first few words I can tell. And I can tell if you're a third dimensional person conflating or whether you've actually had higher dimensional experiences. Anyway, I'm wasting a lot of time talking about nonsense. But this bridge that we're going to walk across, is that real? I don't know. But I do believe that there is a bridge to a higher frequency where we will live in peace, we will live in joy, we will live in love. There will be no governments, there will be no Ponzi scheme, tax garbage nonsense, there won't be any boundaries, there won't be any police, there won't be any need for anything for that people will wake up every morning, they won't have to worry about their, where they're going to get their resources because they'll have a direct connection and the earth will be giving resources to them. And their focus will be on empowerment of their own soul. Children will be brought up with allowing them to find what makes them happy and helping them to express that. It's the only thing that they'll be required to do. We'll have direct connection to higher dimensional beings that will come and go. You'll have direct access to people that you've known who've died. You'll be able to access your true self and remember who you were before you were incarnated and all kinds of great stuff. And you'll be able to get all the benefits of being in the third dimension, all the physical pleasures, all the emotional pleasures, all of those things will be there. And in fact, they will be more intense. I've been, at least I have been, given a glimpse into that. 2 separate times, higher dimensional extraterrestrials came to me and said, first time they came and said, we're going to take you to 5D. I mean, they didn't use those words, but that was what they were talking about. And I thought they were going to land a spaceship and I was going to walk on. I was scared to death, but that's what it was. I was going to do it. I thought a spaceship was going to land in my backyard and I was going to get in and they were going to take me to wherever this place was. That's not what happened. What happened is later on that next day, my energy was shifted up to a level I'd never experienced before. The level of Kundalini that was going through me, the level of DMT that was being released in my brain, and I didn't take anything, I didn't eat or smoke anything. It was, I've never experienced anything like it. And the level of bliss was almost uncomfortable. It was so blissful. I was still in my 3D body, and I was definitely shifted up beyond where I've ever been. But everything felt different, and I was connecting to everything. I could feel, the little babies. I could hear a baby crying, half a mile away, and I wanted to go and help it. I could walk by a dog, and I could feel the soul of the dog, and the dog could look in my eyes and see me. I could see the energy in the clouds, and I was walking on the beach. I could put my energy into the earth, and I could feel all of the energy in the earth, and I was connected to everything. I could adjust it. I could focus on more menial things, and the energy would come down a little bit, and then I could focus on more spiritual things, and the energy would expand. And it was really, I can't put words to it. And then I was taken there a second time because, months afterwards, I was like, what is this thing? What is this 5D thing? And some ETs came, as they do lots of times, and they say, how can we help you? What do you want? I said, I want to go to 5D. And they said, okay. And I thought I was going to physically go somewhere again, but that's not what happened. It took a while. I think it might have been the next day, but sure enough, I was down here in this, the city beach town where I live in, and I was walking around, and again, I could feel everything. The moment that I focused on somebody and I thought positive thoughts for them, I could feel this energy expanding. I could have walked over and healed people. That's how it felt. So I know at the least what it's going to feel like there. But the real question is, where is it? Well, it's right here. It's just a frequency shift. So how do we cross the bridge? How do we walk the rainbow bridge to the new earth? I've got some ideas. So it is my belief that awakenings will increase exponentially. I did not know what was going to happen after the eclipse. Now, I felt some darkness coming on before the eclipse. We did a live meditation the day before. That cleared up a lot of energy, and things were much lighter and happier for me after that. And then the eclipse came and went, and I started having greater expansions, greater awareness, and a lot of garbage seemed to be gone, and more access to joy and peace and the ability to change how I focus my thoughts. And that leads me to believe that this is going to be a time where awakenings are going to start to happen more and more progressively. More and more people are going to start waking up to believing, not only seeing how ridiculous the dark force elite narrative is, but also be able to imagine and experience and fantasize about a beautiful world and start taking actions to create that. We're going to see that. I can feel that as I'm talking. I can feel the energy expanding as I talk. So we're going to see awakenings exponentially increase. The societal split will increase exponentially as well. So, with more and more people awakening, those that again, remember what I said in the beginning of this video, is that the first 3D response to the higher dimensional energy is to have resistance symptoms, which include anxiety, fear, feelings of shame, feelings of betrayal, and of course, people who are afraid, who are really attached to the third dimension, attached to the narrative, attached to their money, attached to their job, attached to even relationships, attached to their pain, their misery, their addictions. People who are attached to this, they're going to fight this. And so you're going to see people get worse, people get crazier, and so you're going to see the split in society get even worse. But on the whole, I think what you're going to see is more and more people awakening. And that's going to create, of course, the people who have been profiting off of the third dimensional frequency of devaluation. Those people are going to work harder not to lose their control over you. So things are going to get even crazier. So access to 5D energies will be progressively easier. This is something that I've noticed. We'll see what happens, but I believe that we may have gone over the hump. There are some people, some Vedic astrologers, who are saying that in the later part of this month, April, is when things are going to shift, and then there's other, they're looking a little further down the road, months or weeks ahead, and they're saying that's when the true awakening is going to happen. We'll see, but based on how I've been feeling, I'm kind of hopeful that that's true. I feel a lot of weight has been lifted. I feel a lot of oppression is lifted, and I feel a lot more hopeful. I'm still frustrated, when people don't understand what I'm trying to tell them, right out of the bat. But that's just because I have to be more patient with people's three-dimensional where they are and people's experience and their resistance. And so, but on the whole, I do think that things are looking up. So I think 5D energies will be progressively easier to access. One thing that I was told, which I'm going to share with you, which is be prepared for the unexpected. Obviously, I don't know what that means, because the unexpected means you're not expecting it. It could be along the lines of, how reality is. Be prepared for the unexpected to see that reality is not what you thought in ways that you couldn't have expected. And be ready for the Dark Force elite to do things, that we can't predict. And they will do things that are unexpected. Be prepared. Just be prepared for the unexpected. Get out of, whatever rut your thinking is about everything. Just be ready not to know what reality is. That's a very helpful thing. People who do interdimensional meditation, I recommend you do what I'm about to share, because this is what I do. That whenever I go into higher dimensions or experience higher dimensional beings, of course, it completely, totally dismantles my understanding of everything, my understanding of myself, my understanding of reality. And it's very easy to think that you're losing your mind, because things are happening that you don't understand as well as don't expect. So what I learned how to do to keep my sanity was to take everything at face value. If I see something that's completely unbelievable, I go into another realm and I have, 7 arms and 10 heads, come back and just go, that's who I really am, and I'm not going to fight that. I look in the mirror, I only see 1 head and 2 arms. I'm not going to try and figure it out. So you're in that liminal state, the in-between state. So allow yourself to go there. Don't have any expectations of what anything is. Be prepared to be flexible about what is true and what is not. And don't become attached to any of it. Don't have a need to be right or wrong. You hear me say all the time, I'm not attached to this. That's part of that is true, and the other part of it is I'm choosing not to be attached to beliefs. And I'm not. It's a great way to live, because when you're wrong and you're not attached to it, you can say, I'm wrong. One of the problems I'm having, again, I give the example of abductees. Those that I've talked to, and I try to explain to them that it wasn't ETs that abducted you. It was human beings using all kinds of really crazy technology. They're obviously very emotionally attached to their interpretation of what happened, because they get upset if I don't buy into it. And that's understandable. They've had an experience that doesn't fit within their understanding of 3D reality. And I'm coming along and I'm giving them an interpretation that's different from the one that helped them understand it, which was, of course, the one that the Dark Force elite wanted them to have. But we become emotionally attached to our understandings because it gives us a feeling of safety and control. So I'm telling you to let go of the need to be safe and to feel like you have any control over anything, because those things are a third dimensional understanding. So be prepared to get rid of that. And the way to do that is, whenever you have a strange experience, accept it at face value, and then don't try and figure it out, and don't be attached. Who knows if you interpret it right or wrong? It doesn't matter. We'll find out. The Dark Force elite lies will progressively be revealed. I want to really believe this. This is something I really, really, really want to believe. So I won't lie to you. I have my fears and my doubts. I have my fears and my doubts that won't happen. I have fears and doubts that they'll keep control, or that they'll be able to overcome this, and they'll be able to, follow through on what they want to do, which would be absolutely horrendous. Having said that, I'm just being honest and putting it out there. Those are feelings that doesn't mean I have to believe them. It's just some feelings that come up, some fears that come up. But I do have the belief, and I have been led to believe by forces outside of myself, that the lies of the Dark Force elite are going to be progressively more and more revealed. And it's not going to be what you think. It's not going to be just that, the was a big lie. Everything during the lockdown was something else. Oh, look, the big pharma's just trying to make money. Oh, look at that. Politicians are corrupt in ways we didn't understand. No, that's already happening. People are becoming aware. More and more people are becoming aware, how corrupt government is, that there really is such a thing as a transnational, deep corporate, deep state money machine that's using governments as money laundering machines and Ponzi schemes. Everybody's starting to wake up to that. But we haven't even scratched the surface. We haven't even begun to reveal what these dark force elites are doing. We haven't even begun to show what's really going on. So it is my belief that those things will come to light, and it will involve things I can't talk about. Human trafficking, trafficking of children, things much worse than that I'm not even going to mention. Things that are so horrible, things that are actions that are so evil, that if the average person were to become aware that this was going on at the level that it's going on, and it's not like there's rogue criminal criminal elements that are doing it, because that's what you would think now. Oh, there's these rogue criminal elements. No, when you find out that the systems in place that you've been led to believe are there to take care of you and to help you and protect you, that these things are actually, it's so widespread, it's done by mechanisms that were supposed to be part of just what keeps everybody safe. And that it's not, isolated pockets around the world, that it's this whole transnational corporate dark force elite, that they're doing these things that you can't even, if you even begin to allow yourself to believe it, if you have any heart, you will break down into tears. And so this is going to be a harsh awakening, and it is my hope and my belief that this will be revealed to the world. When that happens, nothing will be the same. It is also my hope and my belief that the classified programs, the dark force military programs, which include fake alien abductions, as well as all the other things that we talked about, and that we have had 0 point energy, which means that you don't need electricity, you don't need gasoline or petroleum, that there's technology where you can literally take all of the energy you need directly out of the air, and you can heat your home, cool your home, fuel your anti-gravitational vehicle, which is a technology we all have, that all of the things that keep this infrastructure going, which is again a Ponzi scheme, because you can't function in this world if you don't have a vehicle. You can't function in this world if there aren't streets, because your vehicle has to go on streets. You can't function on this earth if you don't have petroleum to fuel your vehicle, or electricity. Now, even if, the truth is that electric cars are just as bad, if not worse, for at least the reason that much of the electricity comes from coal burning plants. So that means just because there isn't anything coming out of your exhaust doesn't mean that you're not burning up fossil fuels. The materials used to create the batteries cause more damage than the actual pollutants that come out of the car. So and that electricity itself has to be bought. So in order to travel anywhere, you have to pay who? People who own the electric companies, that own the petroleum companies, that own the car companies. You have to pay them money. It's illegal to drive a true diesel engine. I don't know if you know this, but diesel engines were originally designed to run on vegetable oil. And you can still tinker with your diesel car and make it run on vegetable oil, except for the fact that it's against the law and the powers that be won't let you do it. Now, does that make any sense? It makes a lot of sense, because the powers that be are funded by who? Big giant corporations like the petroleum companies. So you can't live if you're not paying money every day, every month, to have resources. So the revolution that it would cause once the average human understood that you're telling me I never have to buy electricity, I never have to buy petroleum, I never have to buy gas, coal, I don't have to do any of that, that literally all of my energy needs can be taken care of by this little box that just pulls things out of the air, and I don't have to pay anybody anything. Well, how many trillions of dollars would be lost? And the moment that everybody understands that that's what's going on, that's going to change everything. The moment that people understand that that what I just said is not also the truth, but that we have the technology that Star Wars and Star Trek talked about. That's already available to human beings if they want it. The moment that that becomes clear, you combine that with the human trafficking and the trafficking of children and the fake alien abductions and the transnational, and of course everything else. When all that comes, if you think society and infrastructure is going to survive that, I have a vaccine to sell you. So you understand? This is what I believe is coming, and this is what the dark force elites are working so hard to control. That's why they seem to be out of control, because they are. That's why they seem to be overreaching, because they are. Because they know that their time is coming. They know that this shift, again, I'm not making this up. You could say that if somebody talks about chemtrails, that it's a tinfoil hat, whatever, but scientists, and including people like Bill Gates and President Biden, have talked about programs to block out the sun using planes releasing some kind of chemical to block out the sun. And they say that's to decrease global warming. They know that the sun is what's bringing the shift. I didn't make that. That last part isn't conjecture. You can go just put 10 seconds of effort into it and you can find it. It's not, nobody's hiding that. So I believe all of that's going to come out. That is my hope and my belief. So it's important that we make the decision to think, act, and plan to be in 5D. Let's see, what else did I say after that? Focus all of your energy, thoughts, and plans on a 5D world. Discard all activities and experiences that do not bring joy. So let me just get to the point of it. I'm 60 years old, and I've gone to college. I've got the equivalent. I spent 8 years in college, and I've got the equivalent of at least one PhD in different areas. And I've done my thing. I've acted in movies. I ran a theater company. I played music, recorded music, taught martial arts. Blah blah blah. I don't. I've got all my oats sown. I'm now focused on my path here, which is to be the Thunder Wizard, to teach you higher dimensional spiritual truths and practices. That's where I'm at. That's who I am now. But if I had a kid, which I don't, if I had somebody that was college age, I would sit them down and I would say, don't waste your time with college. Don't don't waste your time trying to get a career. Just don't bother. What you should focus all of your energy on is to find that which gives you the greatest joy, whatever that is. And you should put all of your time and all of your energy into having that experience. And of course, if we're still doing the money thing, which will probably go away soon, I'm hoping, then what you do is you turn that passion into a living. Do not waste any of your energy trying to have a career, trying to get retirement savings. Just don't bother. Don't bother with things like stocks, cryptocurrency. Don't bother with that. All that shit's going away. Not only that, none of those things bring you happiness. None of them. And none of those things actually give you what they pretend to give you, which is money does not equal access to resources. Money is a symbol of your social credit score masquerading as a symbol for resources. That's all it is. And we've been living in a world that's had a social credit score forever, and that social credit score has always been money. You know, China, oh, we don't want to have social credit score like China. Well, we do. It's called money. It's called your credit score. It's called your retirement account, your bank account. How many properties do you own? That's social credit. Your resume. Oh, you went to Harvard? That's social credit scores. That's what all that stuff is. So we're going to be in a place where none of that's going to mean anything. Not only that, but the majority of what you've been taught is, we're finding out, is completely wrong anyway. So all of the knowledge that you think you have is, you know, it turns out to be, at the very least, a misunderstanding, if not an outright lie. So I recommend that everybody focus all of your energy, thoughts, and plans on your 5D world and discard any activity and experience that does not bring you joy. Because that's all you have. I'm going to create in fact, I'll probably do it today when I'm done with this video, but I'm going to create a series on the the 4 souls that you have, and how everything in your life is based on whether or not the 4 souls within your body are balanced. Now, this is a yogic concept called the Maya Kosha. You've probably heard of it. There's 5 sheaths to the soul, and there's 3 bodies. And bottom line is that those 5 sheaths, each one of those 5 sheaths for the soul has 5 aspects to it. And if you want to be immortal, and forget about just being healthy, but if you want to be an immortal, then the way to do that is make sure that all 20 of the aspects of your soul are balanced. If you do that, you will be immortal. You won't die. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. Maya Kosha means pleasure sheath. And what you haven't been told when you've gone to your yoga class and they've talked about the 3 bodies and the 5 koshas, they've never once told you what I'm going to tell you, which is what I wrote in my book, The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life, and which is why that is still the most important book of mine that you can read. You can get that, go to michaelwilliamdenny.com, or just look for Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life on Amazon, Kindle, or Audible. What I say in that book is that the only command that you have is to live your joy and be willing to die to be as happy as you can possibly be, and to know what your soul wants. Well, as it turns out, yogics of old knew this. And your soul has 5 layers on it. which are called sheaths. And the name of those sheaths is called Maya Kosha, which means the sheath of enjoyment, pleasure. It means if you're not experiencing pleasure on all of the 20 levels of pleasure of your soul, you will get sick and die. So, again, look for this because I'm going to make a whole series on this. So discard all activities and experiences that do not bring joy. Because your soul came into conscious existence for only one reason, and that was to experience joy. And anything or anybody that tells you otherwise is an agent of death. Because if you don't have all of those 20 aspects, because each one of those sheaths has 5 aspects to it, and there's 4 sheaths. When you have all 20 of those aspects of joy completely activated and experiencing joy, you will be immortal. Now that's not what you've been taught. What you've been taught is you're supposed to go beyond experiences. You're supposed to go beyond Maya. That's called Maya Kosha. You've been taught you're supposed to go beyond the Maya. Well, guess what? Maya is enjoyment. And if you go beyond enjoyment, if you try and get rid of it, if you try and kill it, you're killing yourself. All these yogis out there that are telling you to go beyond the enjoyment of the flesh, go beyond the enjoyment of emotions, they're actually telling you to go kill yourself. So it turns out that my book was right the whole time. There's only one commandment, and that commandment is to know what the joy of your soul is and to do everything in your power to live it. It's the only reason you're here. So we're going to go into a shift of 5D, and that's everybody's going to understand that. My book, what's in that book is how everybody's going to live. And I've come to find out, been told this by higher dimensional beings. One of the reasons they chose me to do the work I'm going to be doing in the next world is because I figured that out. I didn't read it somewhere. I figured it out and enacted it in my life. But the gods, Shiva, Kali, Odin, Thor, Zeus, whomever, in order to be gods, they actually live that commandment. Their commandment is they never do anything that doesn't bring them joy. So you have the opportunity to become an immortal god. And here's the good news. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to flagellate yourself. You don't have to go beyond, and you don't have to try and dissociate from your experiences and your pleasures. You should actually experience them. But the question is, are you experiencing the pleasure of your soul, or are you experiencing your third dimensional habits of distraction, which people conflate with happiness? Distraction is not happiness. Happiness is something else. So, that's it. Awakenings will increase exponentially. Societal split will increase exponentially. Access to 5D energies, I believe, will be progressively easier. Be prepared for the unexpected. Dark Force Elite lies will progressively be revealed. Make the decision to think, act, and plan to be in the 5th dimension. Focus all of your energy, thoughts, and plans on a 5D world. Discard all activities and experiences that do not bring you joy. Those are my suggestions for all of you. All right, I don't see any questions here. So to help you understand some of the amazing things that are available to you, that I am providing to achieve exactly what we're talking about. First, let's talk about this. The Maoshan Spirit Fighting Kung Fu has made its way over to the thunderwizard.com site, and I'm making the wood set available first, because if you don't know if you want to do that, it's a big commitment to commit to learn all of those 5 element practices. If you don't know if that's for you, then you can do the wood element, and that's a safe thing to do because the wood is actually, all of the elements are contained within wood. And so when you do wood, it's a very safe thing to do and you don't have to worry about getting out of balance. So before you commit to doing metal, water, fire, and earth, you can do the wood element. And as we're going to talk about when we do the series on the 5 enjoyment sheaths, one of them is called the prana enjoyment sheath, which is life force energy. And that is the last sheath that you have before your physical body dies. When somebody dies, it's because their prana sheath fiddles out. They don't have any more. They don't have enough life force energy to keep them alive. So it is clearly the most important and the most immediate one. And the wood element is the ether element, which is spirit, which is life force energy. So at the very least, you'll have the most powerful life force energy practice I've ever come across. To learn more about it, let's hear from Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, shall we? The Maoshan wood element moving shamanic kung fu form is the most powerful and advanced method I've ever used to tap directly into the power of pure spirit, of pure energy. These moving forms work with the 8 directions in ways that allow you to literally channel and summon higher dimensional energies. This particular package includes what you see here, which is called the Sifu hands. I also give you detailed footwork instruction, which connects to the energy centers at the bottom of the feet. And when you put the hand movements, the foot movements, and the alignment of the body together, you actually are able to channel the deity known as ether, or in Taoist understanding, wood. It's available now at thunderwizard.com. Go and click on the shop menu. You will see it there. The rest of the elements, metal, fire, water, and earth, will be coming soon. All right, so that explains that. We've also got a brand new, I'm very proud and happy of this. I'm using this on a daily basis. And this is the Huar Mantra technique for activating the pineal gland. So we've got that also available at the thunderwizard.com shop. And once again, let's hear from the Thunder Wizard. What exactly is this? The mantra you are hearing in the background is the Huar Mantra. This mantra was literally given to me by a higher dimensional being that beamed into my living room 2.5 years ago and taught me this very advanced frequency. What I've come to find out many things about this mantra is that, number one, this is the frequency for the solar flash 5D shift. The mantra literally means planet Earth transforming to 5D. I've come to find out that this mantra also does something very powerful. It is, in my experience so far, the most powerful technique to stimulate the pineal gland. So just by chanting this mantra that you're hearing, you are stimulating the pineal gland. The pineal gland is the transceiver. It's filled with rhombohedron crystals that, when they vibrate, creates a very concentrated electromagnetic field around not just your head, but eventually your entire body. And this electromagnetic field is at such a frequency that it allows your consciousness to go to higher dimensions, and it opens a portal for higher dimensional consciousness to communicate with you. And over the past 2.5 years, I have used this mantra in all of my interdimensional meditations. I have developed multiple techniques for it, and I want to share these with you. I have so far created the most powerful techniques in my history that have allowed me to go further and deeper into higher dimensions by using this sound both in my physical state, chanting it, also doing it silently, but there is a way that you can use the pump in the body which pumps the fluid, what people call the Christos or the Christ fluid, pumps this fluid up into the pineal gland and activates the pineal gland. When you do that exercise combined with this mantra, my experience is there is no more powerful technique to allow you to achieve unbelievable things. I mean, we could talk for hours about the things you can accomplish with this technique. But I would like for you to go to thunderwizard.com and click on shop, and there you will see the advanced Huar mantra technique for pineal activation. There is an introductory video which is also on the free channel, but I go into depth explaining to you what this is, what the pineal gland does. But I then go and teach you a moving meditation, a Qigong practice using this mantra, which will fill the power of this mantra in your entire aura, as well as show you how to bring the energy up through your spinal column into the pineal and allow this mantra to activate the pineal. And then I teach you a meditative technique where, while you are deep in meditation, you can use a specific technique to further stimulate the pineal gland while using this mantra. So to get that, go to thunderwizard.com, click on the shop menu, and you can find it there. Thank you, and I look forward to meditating with you, perhaps in the new 5D world. All right. Okay, that's all the business I need to do for today. I don't see any questions, so I guess we will just end things here and now. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to put together that new teaching series on the soul and the enjoyment sheaths, and how you can, by understanding each of the 20 aspects of these, the combined 20 aspects of the soul, when you have those empowered and balanced, how you can not only be disease-free, free from illness, but you'll also be able to avoid aging, and you'll be able to be an immortal if you're able to do it. We'll talk about that. I think this is incredibly important stuff, since we're moving into a time of pure bliss and joy. And so the more we can focus on how to be joyful and happy, the easier the shift is going to be. All right, we're all done. That's it, my friends. I love you all. Thank you so much for spending the time with me today. Thank you for listening. Thank you to everybody who is doing anything whatsoever to help their souls evolve. By doing that, not only do I benefit from it, you benefit from it, but all conscious beings, including the gods themselves, benefit from you choosing to evolve. Thank you to everybody who is supporting the channel here at the 90-Day Challenge, subscribing there. Those of you who are going to the shop at thunderwizard.com and purchasing practices there. All of you are helping me to be able to function and eat and be able to spend 24 hours, 7 days a week focused on this work, which is getting myself and anybody else who wants to come ready to make this shift to a higher dimension. So thank you all. I love you all, and I appreciate you. And as always, if I don't get beamed up to the Starship Enterprise, and or the solar flash don't come, and or if I don't shift myself out of this three-dimensional reality, I will see you all very soon. Please take extremely good care of yourselves and know that you are loved. See you next time.